Mr. Clerk, are we missing Marlene still?
We are still waiting for Marlene.
We'll give her a minute. We might as well get started. Mr. Clerk, if you want to contact Councillor Ottens while we get started. Okay, Mr. Barron's doing that now. Thank you.
Excuse me, Your Worship, the CAO is just calling her now.
Thank you. Well, we'll call this meeting to order. It is 1:01 p.m. And I thank everyone for coming today to this meeting. We have some good things happening in this township each and every week. And it's nice to know also that we have a good future with vaccines coming, supposed to be coming a lot more than we've had before, which means that we're going to be able to get more people vaccinated and back to normal sooner than later, so we can have our summer school programs running full tilt. That's what Amy would love to have, so gotta make sure we get doing what we can. So with all that, any declaration of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we have confirmation of minutes. And the recommendation here on item 4.1 is that the minutes of the Township of Mapleton Council meeting held on April 13, 2021 be confirmed as circulated in the agenda package. Any questions, comments on that? All those in favor? Sorry, I did move her in a seconder. My apologies. Moved by Councillor Douglas, second by Councillor Craven, then all in favor. I saw everybody's hands up, which is perfect. That's carried. Any matters arising from the minutes? Then we have matters under the Planning Act, item 6.1, ZBA 2021-06. The recommendation here is that the Wellington County Planning Report dated April 14, 2021 concerning zoning application ZBA 2021-06 located at Part Lot 10, Concession 14 East, 7609 Wellington Road 7 be received for information, and further that the draft amending bylaw is circulated in the agenda be presented to council in first, second, and third reading. Council need any more discussion on this one?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we do have, if necessary, we do have Matt Daou on the line.
Yes, I see that. Does council need any further discussion on this? All right, so I need a mover and a seconder then. Councilor Douglas, Councilor Martin seconded. All those in favor? Councilor Craven, anybody opposed? Okay, that's carried. Item number 7, we have delegations. And right now we have with us Karen Chisholm, Climate Change Coordinator from the County of Wellington. Karen, welcome.
Hi, thank you very, very much. I'll just share my screen. Okay, you should see the title slide. You can see that.
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be back with you today. I met with you a few months ago to introduce you to the climate change mitigation plan the county has been working on. Today, I'm just following up. The mitigation plan was endorsed by County Council at the end of February. So here to follow up with you on some of the details of the plan and highlight some of the activities that have been initiated and some things that we're looking out for. And this is an opportunity for you to ask questions about the plan. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have at the end. The climate change mitigation plan, it's called Future Focused. It was undertaken following the Federation of Canadian Municipalities 5-milestone framework. It was also funded by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. We completed the first 3 milestones, the first being an emissions inventory and forecast, the second is setting the target, and the third is actually creating the action plan. The greenhouse gas emissions inventory looked at buildings, transportation, solid waste, and agriculture. Under buildings, we looked at electricity, natural gas, propane, and fuel oil use. Transportation, we looked at gasoline and diesel. Solid waste, we looked at methane production. And agriculture, we looked at enteric fermentation, manure management, soil management, and liming and urea application. From those, we calculated the greenhouse gas emissions, and we found approximately 1.2 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent produced in the county community. This can be divided into 2 different categories, one being of fossil fuel origin, which includes the energies used in buildings and transportation, and biogenic, or sourced from biological matters, which includes agriculture and solid waste. And we chose to separate these out because there is potential for biogenically generated greenhouse gas emissions to be captured and reused as fuel. So we wanted to highlight that these biogenic sources could be used as a resource through this transition to a greener energies. So of that, if we look at how many tons of carbon dioxide per person, the county sits at about 12.7, which is just a little bit higher than the provincial tons per capita. The plan was developed through a number of engagement activities. These were online because of our COVID situation. We had a steering advisory group, which included members of representatives from each of the member municipalities. We also had a community advisory group, which included a number of representatives from some of the county's community organization. There were school boards, public health, Wellington Federation of Agriculture, and a number of others, plus some representatives from natural gas sector and electricity, and some members at large. And we tried to get representation from across the county in that group. We also had an internal staff project team. This was their focus was mostly on our corporate greenhouse gases, and which followed the same process as the community plan. But they also provided some insight in some of the community programs that the county offers. We also had some scoped engagement with local industry contributors. So again, this included Wellington Federation of Agriculture, some staff from academics from University of Guelph, and others. The targets set in the plan are, we looked at the targets by other levels of government, including our national targets of net zero by 2050, but also the Paris Agreement, which is 30% reduction from 2005 levels by 2030. And that has been agreed to by Canada and the province of Ontario. And we also considered the Partners in Climate Protection, which is the program under Federation of Canadian Municipalities that guides this work. Their recommendation is 6% from the baseline year, in our case 2017, over 10 years. The target that we settled on was a 6% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions from 2022, which is the official year that this plan will be in place until 2030. And that target will reduce our community emissions by about 73,000 tons of carbon dioxide. So I won't go through the recommendations because there are quite a few of them, but I wanted to highlight a few of the big moves. First, in transportation, this is going to focus on a transition to electric vehicles, both in the county fleet as well as in the community. In buildings, we're looking at two things. One is for existing housing and looking at deep energy retrofits. And for new housing, it's going to be green development standards. And this will look at methods to reduce greenhouse gas emissions that go beyond the Ontario Building Code. In agriculture, we're going to continue partnering with smart cities who are doing some really great stuff with the circular economy. We're also, of course, continuing to support the Rural Water Quality Program and the Green Legacy tree planting program. And in solid waste, the solid waste team has developed a solid waste services strategy that has a number of green initiatives. And so that will continue to be implemented, as well as looking for other partnership opportunities there. So I wanted to highlight a couple of things that we're working on right now. First being the Regional Electric Vehicle Charging Network Plan. This has been in discussion for a couple of months with partners, including the City of Guelph, counties of Dufferin, Perth, Huron, Grey, and Bruce. And what this is looking at our jurisdiction and saying, for small communities, sometimes funding is a challenge to get. So if we work together and be strategic about where we want our EV charging stations, we're hoping that that's going to bring some attention to the need in this area. And we'll be linking those to visitor destinations, so shopping and any sort of tourist attractions and things like that. And we're hoping, we've just yesterday applied for FCM funding for this, and we hope that will be completed by March 2022. The second is Home Energy Retrofit Program. This is in development, and we've partnered with Our Energy Guelph, and we're in talks with Waterloo Region to bring the industry together, the local industry together, to identify some of the barriers to green energy retrofits in homes and figure out some approaches to deliver a program to support homeowners, but also look at some financing options for homeowners. And lastly, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that are happening in agriculture, which I think will be relevant for folks living in Mapleton. First, there's the federal greenhouse gas offset system. This is something fairly new that's been released by the federal government, and it's looking to enhance soil organic carbon. They're going to be producing some protocols for sustainable agriculture land management activities that reduce greenhouse gas emissions and enhance soil sequestration on agriculture land. So we don't know what this is going to look like yet, but the gist of it is that if farmers are able to show that they can sequester carbon and reduce greenhouse gas use on the farm, then that can be used as a credit, which can then be sold to large industries that are looking to reduce their carbon footprint. So we're keeping a close eye on that one. The second one is Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada Living Laboratories Initiative. So this is a farmer-led It's farmer-led studies on innovative approaches to climate change mitigation and adaptation on the farm. Ontario already has a living laboratory looking at impacts to Lake Erie. And so this would be an initiative that would start after that one. So we're closely following this to see if there's a role for the County of Wellington and our farmers to play in this. It is essentially linking farmers up with academics to do on-farm research to inform some climate change mitigation and adaptation work. So with that, I will happily answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Karen. The recommendation that we have here is that the presentation of Karen Chisholm entitled Future Focus, a Climate Change Mitigation Plan for the County of Wellington to receive her information. Moved by Councillor Douglas, seconded by Councillor Martin. Thank you. Questions, comments for Ms. Chisholm on this? Okay, not seeing any. Thank you, Karen. I think it's a great plan. I really like the idea of them having the agricultural piece. That's really going to do well for our farmers, our area here in Mapleton. And I also like the funding for the EV, and I'm glad we actually applied for that funding. I think it's going to be a needed tool for a lot of vehicle owners coming up. And certainly if we have it, we can be in a nice corridor and people will be able to travel back and forth through that corridor for tourism, for economic development. I think it's a great idea. And I know there is at least one employee that we have here at the township who would love to have an EV station here in Mapleton close by. So I think it's, I really hope that we get that. And if there's anything we can do here as a township to help get that funding from the FCM, just let us know.
I appreciate that offer. Thank you very much.
Hey, all those in favor of receiving this? That's carried. Thank you. We don't have any minutes from committees right now. And we're down to 9.1. We have the clerk's department. Recommendation is that the CAO's report CL 2021-04 dated April 27th, 2021 with regards to Mapleton planning changes and fee recommendation be received, and that council adopt the fee recommendations as presented effective May 3rd, 2021. Mr. Barron.
Thank you, Your Worship. So today, in my opinion, is a very exciting day for Mapleton as we get to announce what our plans moving forward are. This, as you know, has been in the works for some time, and I think we're very fortunate to have Linda join us, for her planning services and her expertise. So I guess this has been approved at some point. So I guess if we want to welcome Linda, that would be great. Very happy to have you. Also, with that comes some savings as demonstrated in the report. When we took the 7-year average based on the applications that presented themselves, we're looking to save about $56,000 a year. And I guess staff is recommending that we pass those savings directly on to the end users. So any applications that come in, they can experience savings. Because it was my first time using this iCompass and not Word, I did forget to put in the actual per application price. So I did send that to you as well, outlining what the savings would be. So for instance, for rezoning, the county pays, we pay the county $6,710. It would now be $4,000. So there's some substantial savings there. So I guess if council approves the recommendation with lowering the fees, we would come back to council in a couple of weeks with the new fees and charges bylaw and make it effective as soon as possible. So all in all, great news story, in my opinion, for us, and great news story for residents as well.
So before moving on, I need to get a mover and a seconder for the recommendation I read. Moved by Councillor Craven, second by Councillor Martin. Thank you. And Linda, welcome. We had our last planning meeting and our last county council meeting, and everyone's saying, happy retirement to Linda. And I'm just sitting there tight-lipped because I know she was going to be retired, but kind of unretiring a little bit to be with us. So I didn't say a whole lot, but I think it's great to have you on board there, Linda. And messages or questions or comments from members of council on this recommendation, on the fee recommendation. Everybody's happy with the fees? Everybody's happy with the fees go right to the residents or the people doing the applications? Mr. Craven?
Yeah, with these new fees and Linda being with us, nothing but a win-win situation for us and the residents of Mapleton.
Thank you. I did ask Mr. Barron about if there being any county fees that would be attached to this. Being that Linda will be working for us, but she will have to do some work at the county level. But I understand the county doesn't charge any fees. Maybe Linda, you can answer that or talk up to that. If you had to do anything for the county.
Sure. Through you, Mayor, when I was in a county planning position, we didn't bill the township for anything other than county applications. So subdivisions, official plan amendments, part law control, consents. But the services we provided to the townships in terms of in our county role for pre-consultation and any kind of advice or just general inquiries, we did not bill for that. There is no fee imposed for that at this point in time from the county. So that's what I know now. Now, whether that could change, who knows? But generally, no, there's no additional fees for that.
The reason I asked that, Council, is because if there was going to be some kind of fee, we would have had to make some kind of arrangement in our fee schedule to accommodate for that. Are we missing anything in our fee schedule that we may need? So, for example, there's no distinction between residential, commercial, major or minor plans, lot drainage or grading. There's nothing in there. So how does that fit? Is it all going to be the same fee, or there's no?
Are you asking me? Sorry, or
Either
Manny?
you or Mr. Barron, because I know these fees are, these are some of the things that you as a planner will have to do. And, there's no, like I said, there's no distinction between residential and commercial when it comes to any of these plans or any of this work being done. Like a zoning bylaw amendment, there's no distinction.
No, there's not. It's a flat fee, no matter what it is.
And same with the minor variance. There's no distinction between a minor one or something a little bit more in depth.
No,
Okay.
the fee, it builds in, there's going to be times that ones are simple and there's going to be times that ones take a considerable amount of time. And so the fee builds that in.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I just, I saw what Center Wellington has for their fee schedule for their planning department, and I noticed they had a little bit different than what we have here. So I just want to make sure we were covered off.
So if I can just add to that, the difficulty with having a major and a minor application is then who decides when it's major and when it's minor, and what are the parameters around that? Time, complexity, like how do we, it's asking staff to make a determination that's sometimes hard to do.
Fair enough. Very
Yeah.
good. Any other questions, comments from council members? Anything else you want to add, Linda? We're welcome on board. You want anything to say? You're happy?
Yeah, thank you. I'm very happy. I've been enjoying my month off. I've done a lot of nothing. So I'm ready to get back into a routine, and I'm really excited about what's ahead with Mapleton. I have a lot of ideas that I'd like to work on with you guys, and so I'm really excited about it.
And
Thank
we're
you.
excited to have you on board because we know
Thank
what
you.
kind of an asset you are. You were to the county, and you're going to be a great asset for us.
Thank
So thank you. All those in favor? That's passed. Thank you. Next, we have on here item 9.21, water tower design. And I have a recommendation here that Township of Mapleton Council receive Economic Development Report ED 2021-04 dated April 27th, 2021 regarding the water tower design public survey results. And further, that the Township of Mapleton Council provide staff direction on the choice of water tower design as recommended in the report. So before we get to the report, a mover or seconder, please. Councilor Douglas, seconded by Councilor Martin. Perfect. And we go off to Ali Cripps.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. So as you know, we did the survey. We had a great amount of people that responded to it, which is great to see people are interested in the infrastructure in Mapleton and happy to get involved. Attached are the responses to the survey. So the first one, the majority chose the logo with no tagline under it at all. The majority chose the orangey, reddy, dark orange kind of color for the bottom. And the last one, the majority chose to have Drayton written on it. So we're just asking that council approve the design and direct staff with this, or changes just direct staff on the design.
Okay, Council. So the first question I have, Ali, is do we have an idea where these surveys came from? Are they Moorfield residents, Alma residents, Drayton residents? What are the majority of? Do we have an idea or no?
The majority was Drayton. There was some Alma and some Moorfield residents as well, but the majority was Drayton.
Thank you. Okay, questions from council and comments? Council Douglas.
I just want to echo Ali's comments. I was pretty happy with the number of respondents, and I think the choice was good. So you know, it's looks like a good choice.
No one picked blue. Okay. Or not enough. Council Martin, anything to add? Nothing? So council would like to see the word Drayton underneath Mapleton? Councilor Douglas?
Well, I think we put it out to a survey, so I think we have to abide by the results of the survey at this point.
Well, that's
So-
why I asked the question where the majority of people come from, right? We are the Township of Mapleton. And I'm not a big fan of having the word Drayton underneath it because we are the township. I can understand region of Waterloo and then having, Elmira underneath it, but we are Mapleton. That's why I wonder if you want to keep it that way. But if no one's got any other suggestions, so the recommendation then is that the council provide direction. So is the direction to go with those elements right there? Is that the direction I'm hearing? Yes. Okay. That's the direction there, Ali. What's in the survey? So Mapleton with Drayton in it. And the color of the rust or burnt orange or whatever that color is. All those in favor? That's carried. Mr. Martin, you had something to add there?
I was gonna say it's rust,
It's rust.
but
All
I don't
right.
know. I don't know if it's is it a legitimate true color, Ali? Like as far as reflected in the color scheme, like it's pretty close. It's got some red and orange in it. Is that, what do you call that color?
Through you, Mayor. I would say it's kind of a burnt orange color. We will be giving the right color scheme on we have color codes, so that will be given. It is a dark orangey with a tint of red.
So that's carried. Thank you. Next, we have 9.3.1 operating budget variance report. Recommendation here is that the Township be able to council receive finance report FIN 2021-09 regarding the Q1 2021 operating budget variance as information. Moved by Councillor Douglas, second by Councillor Martin. Mr. Morrison.
Through you, your worship, this is the Q1 results for 2021. It's still early in the budget year, so these are very preliminary results about the projection. We're continuing to see some pressures on our recreational facilities as they remain closed, but hopefully that will turn around once the restrictions are lifted and the majority of the population receives its vaccine. You're also seeing the pressures of the insurance on our budget right now. That's probably the full amount you're going to see for insurance. We just posted it in all of it in the first quarter. And basically, if there's any other questions that comes to mind, I'll be here to answer them to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Morrison? Comments? Nothing? Okay, all those in favor then, receiving for information? That's carried. Next, we have 9.3.2 that the Township of Mapleton Council received finance report FIN 2021-10 regarding the LAS natural gas procurement program. And 1, authorize a natural gas appointment and retainer agreement between the Local Authority Services, LAS, a duly incorporated subsidiary of the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, and 2, authorize the treasurer to enter into and execute the retainer agreement and any other necessary documents to give effect to the retainer agreement or to the purpose. Moved by Councillor Martin, moved by Councillor Douglas, second by Councillor Martin. Okay, Mr. Morrison, the LAS.
Through you, your worship. The last time that council appears to have looked at this hedging strategy or procurement strategy for natural gas and electricity was probably in 2008. So we brought it back for your review. It's got some interesting graphs, I thought, with respect to how the hedging strategy for natural gas has at times protected the municipality from swings in the markets, and at other times has cost us a wee bit more money than we would otherwise have to pay should we have just gone with the market. So as a treasurer, I kind of like a straight line. I don't like ups and downs. So the hedging strategy is a good way to keep tax rates very stable. However, we thought that you might want to weigh in with respect to this hedging strategy, because with natural gas, you're only hedging 80% of the commodity price. You're not controlling anything about this transportation to the utilities service area, nor are you controlling anything about the utilities cost and other taxes that would be applied for respect to the environment. Just for your information, the electrical bills is about as complicated, and it's only hedging 65% as well. So I just, historically, this is just interesting stuff. It tells us, you know, how that our hedging strategy has worked at times. So if there's any other questions, I would be happy to answer them for you.
Thank you. Questions to Mr. Morrison on this strategy? So we want to keep this strategy, council, keep going in that direction so we have a straight line for stability. Okay, I'm not seeing anything here, Mr. Morrison, that's going off the track on you. So council, all those in favor of this recommendation? That's carried. Next, we have item number 10, approval of bylaws. We have bylaw 2021-033. So the recommendation that bylaw number 2021-033 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2010-080 being a zoning bylaw for the Township of Mapleton be hereby read first, second, and third time, signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with a corporate seal. All those in favor? It's all right. Mover, please. Councillor Craven, second by Councillor Douglas. All those in favor? Thank you. I'll get this right. I'll learn this once in a while. Good enough. Correspondence for council information. We have a number of correspondence there. Anybody want to discuss any of the correspondence? I think there's 2 of them. Any notices of motion today? Any other business? Item 15. So we've got item 16. So we, first off is the rising report from the council. Our closed session convened on April 13, 2021. At that time, we reviewed and adopted closed session minutes, March 23rd, 2021, and we discussed labor relations or employee negotiations. And right now, item 16.2, recommendation here is that subsequent to the council adopting confirmatory bylaw 2021-034, an adjournment of the regular council meeting, The Township of Mapleton Council move into a closed session for the following reasons. Review and adoption of the closed session minutes, April 13, 2021. Advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, and proposed or pending disposition of land by the municipality. Moved by Councillor Douglas, second by Councillor Martin. All those in favor? It's carried. And then the confirmatory bylaw, item 17.1, with the bylaw number 2020-034 being a bylaw to confirm all actions and proceedings of the council of the corporation of the Township of Mapleton be hereby read a first, second, and third time, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with a corporate seal. Moved by Councillor Craven, second by Councillor Douglas. All those in favor, move into the closed. That's carried. And we are adjourned our regular council meeting. Give it a couple minutes and we'll go to closed.